This is build you from the ground up. Probably one of the most important courses on my website at the moment. And it's because I'm going to teach you step by step the fundamentals of boxing. See, you want to make sure you have a good foundation. You have good fundamentals. It's no different than building a house, right? You want to have a solid foundation so you can build on top of it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you the same way that I've taught hundreds of people throughout the years from owning a gym. I've also had the opportunity to work with numerous world-level professional fighters, amateur fighters at the Olympic level, and they all had one thing in common, and that's good fundamentals. Okay, you have to have a solid foundation if you want to go ahead and building on top of this, all right? But this is just a really good starting point. So for all my beginners out there, intermediate and advanced boxers, let's go ahead and let's get started. You already know. Yo, it's day three. 3 days in a row, man. You already know, no days off November, man. No matter what, we pulling up. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, man, we had the press conference today, man. We had the press conference today. We had Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant pulling up on each other at the press conference. I don't know if you guys seen it. You know what I mean? But Caleb looked pretty confident today, man. I don't know who's seen it, man, but you know, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about all that. You know what I mean? I got the clip right here. For those of you guys ain't see it, let me see right here.
Really not much left to say, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Leading up to this fight, Canelo said that Mexicans don't fuck around. Well, that's good to know because where I'm from, we don't fuck around neither. So Saturday night, make sure you tune in. You'll be seeing the first undisputed super middleweight of all time. This is history, and you're looking at him. His name is Caleb Plant.
Damn. So I don't know. I don't really know what y'all thinking about that, man. But it looks like Caleb Plant is definitely looking pretty confident. You know what I mean? What y'all thinking, man? Talk to me real quick, man. First and foremost, big shout out to the Outlaw. First, before it even starts. What's going on, man? I appreciate you pulling up, man. I told you, for everybody who's watching this live and for the people who watch this afterwards, we're going to be here every single day for the month of November. We're going to talk about whatever's going on. This week, obviously, is a lot of Canelo, Caleb Plant. We're going to constantly talk about that. You know what I mean? So we just going to keep it going. We're going to do Q&A. We're going to talk about predictions. I'm going to bring some of you guys on here. So, you know what I mean? We're going to have some fun with this, man. My boy Eugenie Malo, second before it starts. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. My boy Anthony B. I'm loving the consistency, coach. Let's build this channel, man. Thank you very much, man. Look, you guys know me for years for putting out material and content on boxing instructionals, and that's not going to end, you know what I mean? But for the month of November, I want to just try something different. I just want to see how this works out. I want to see how this plays out. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because we're going to keep on rolling. And, you know, we're going to get a lot done. For the guys who do pull up in here, you guys are going to be able to ask questions. You guys are going to be able to voice your opinion. So consider this our platform. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Scarface Plant. Oh, my boy said, you woke me up, coach. This live better be good. You always speak the truth, coach. Man, I appreciate you, man. Listen, I'm just going to be me, and we're going to see what happens. My man Caesar just got running coach energy. That's what's up, man. You getting ready for something, or you just staying in shape? Let me know. My man Vincenti Barrera can't wait for Saturday. Yeah, man, Saturday's going to be dope, man. I'm really excited, man. I mean, you guys saw what I just posted. You guys just saw Caleb Plant. What's your thoughts, man? I mean, do you really think Caleb Plant is going to come out here and press the action? What do y'all think? Or do y'all think he's just going to come and, you know, just try to survive? What are you guys thinking? What it do? What to do with the folk? MBBC forever. Not sure what you're talking about. Big shout out to you, my boy. Caesar said at the bar, pull up bar. Yeah, man. You already know, man. You gotta stay in shape. I'd rather you be at that bar than the regular bar, especially on a Wednesday, man. You know what I mean? This month I'm trying to get back too, man, for the record. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm weighing in at about 225. And I already said it, and I'm dead serious. I'm gonna need y'all to hold me accountable. November 1st, I started my diet. I've never stopped going to the gym. I always worked out, always lifted weights. You know what I'm saying? I always made sure that I at least do my cardio and stuff like that. Don't box much nowadays. I do more weight training and regular cardio, but my diet, man. I mean, obviously, if you guys been following me for the last 5 years, you see that I put on a few extra pounds. So I'm about 220, 225 in that area, fluctuates. The goal is to get to 200 pounds as soon as possible. So I'm basically, working the calories, counting my macros, my calories, and all that stuff. So no days off November is also no days off November when it comes to fitness, nutrition, and all of that. And then we're gonna keep it going. Obviously, November is just to get me on track. And but of course, this is a lifestyle, right? You can't just do something for 30 days. You got to do it forever. So basically, the only thing missing in my life is the nutrition. I got to get my diet in check, man. A lot of time behind the computer, working on these courses. You start to build a bad habit of going to the kitchen and all that stuff. I don't know if anybody could relate, but we're going to fix all of that. Mike Lamb, shout out Coach Ant. What's up, my guy? Appreciate you for pulling up. Is Plant as good as he talks, and who has he fought? We know Canelo's. I mean, listen, we know that Plant is good, but you're right. I don't really know who he's fought at this particular level. Obviously, he's never fought nobody at this particular level. He has fought some guys, some decent names, but he can box. There's no doubt about it. He can box, and he does have some attributes. He's taller. He's naturally a 168 pounder. He's been a 168 pound his whole career. Um, he has good lateral movement, and he looks dead serious. He looks like he's really here to fight. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and play what he said one more time.
Really not much left to say, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Leading up to this fight, Canelo said the Mexicans don't fuck around. Well, that's good to know because where I'm from, we don't fuck around neither. So Saturday night, make sure you tune in. You'll be seeing the first undisputed super middleweight of all time. This is history, and you're looking at him. His name is Caleb Plant.
What y'all think, man? What y'all think, man? Talk to me. Anthony B said, I'm rocking with Plant. As DT3 says it's going to be good for Caleb for about 5 or 6 rounds. So what, he's going to do good for 5 or 6 rounds, and then what's going to happen? I got money on Plant. Let's hope he pulls it off. I'm still a Canelo fan. Okay, so what are you doing? You just trying to go against the odds and make money? What made you bet on Plant if you're a Canelo fan? Oh, boy, no, you should go vegan, coach. Man, that's a big extreme. I know a lot of people who are starting to go vegan. Actually, Eddie Chambers is vegan. And you already know my relationship with Eddie. We're pretty close. And but I don't think I'm ready to do it yet, man. You have to be in the mindset to do the vegan stuff. You really gotta want to go that direction. But if you can do it, man, more power to you. See, they said, I wish I was your body fat. Hey man, everybody's at different levels at different times. But right now, I'm probably the highest body fat percentage I've been in ever, to be honest with you, man. So my goal right now is just take advantage of this winter time. when you could hide in these hoodies, you know what I'm saying, and just focus on the nutrition, because nutrition is such a big part of the weight loss, right? You can go to the gym every day. If your nutrition ain't on point, you ain't gonna lose no weight. I'm an example of that. I mean, I literally been in the gym every single day with injuries, without injuries, doing cardio, lifting, and none of it matters, man. If your nutrition ain't, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that none of it matters. You'll still get stronger. You'll still perform better, and whatever you actually do on a day to day. But your body won't change. You'll look exactly the same, or you'll actually start to look worse if you eat too much. You know what I'm saying? So the goal is to really fix the nutrition. That's my issue. I need more greens in my diet. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's good to have everything. You know what I mean? A little bit of everything. Your greens, your protein, however you want to get it, whether that's from a vegan source or you want to get it from regular food, and your carbohydrates, right? You want to try your best to get your carbohydrates from real food. Like your potatoes or whatever. Even some rice, stuff like that. You want to avoid the BS. My problem is I wasn't avoiding the BS for some time, but now I'm avoiding it. Now I'm gonna focus on avoiding it. I think if you cut out most junk food, drink water, work out every day, try to eat real food, you can basically balance your lifestyle. Because another thing that uh food does is it triggers a lot of bad habits. So you may go and say, I'm only going to eat one Twix, and then you eat one Twix, and then 15 minutes later, you want another one. And if you're getting the king size Twix, they got like the 4 bars in it, right? That's like 500 calories. Let's just say you eat that, and then a little while later, you want to eat another one of those. I mean, that's 1,000 calories right there. If you're trying to eat a 2,000 or 2,500 calorie diet, you just ate either half or one or over 130 of your calories in just a couple of chocolate bars. That don't include your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast, a snack that you might have had earlier in the day. So you have to be very careful with your food choices. You know what I'm saying? You can't outrun your fork. That's a fact. That's a fact. I know all about that, champ. Mongo Slay said, peace, peace, champ. Anthony B, hey coach, why do most boxing undercards suck? The Wilder versus Fury was good, but this one Saturday isn't. The UFC 268 is the same night and loaded. Boxing got to do better for the fans. Yeah, man. I think that I never really understood why it's like that, man. That's a good question. It's unfortunate because this particular weekend we had a lot of good fights. I was really happy with the two fight cards, the one on ESPN and the one on Showtime this past weekend. Had they had saved some of those fights and put them on next weekend, you know what I'm saying? That would have been dope. I mean, but you know, what can you do? You know what I mean? All you can do is try to enjoy at least the main event. But you're right. You know what I mean? We want to see good fights. Jorge said, tell Canelo to have his butcher send you that. Yeah. I need whatever Canelo was taking, man. Canelo was looking in good shape. I might have to go ahead and hit them up, man. I'm not fighting, so I could do whatever. Let me go ahead and put this link in here. Whoever one of y'all want to come in here and chop it up with me, man, pull up. Talk about this fight this weekend, man. Let's talk about this fight. Jorge, get in here, man. Let's talk about this fight. I know you love Canelo. Do you watch bare knuckle boxing? It's exciting. They be getting it, coach. I really don't watch it that much, man. I really Don't watch it. I've seen it, but I'm not really following it like that. I got to be honest. Hey, Coach Chan, I need to get my vegetables in, though I don't enjoy them. What is a good alternative? Well, they actually sell like these powders now that you can actually, put in your water. You could mix it up and drink it, and it's supposed to have like a lot of the vegetables that you need throughout the day. Another thing you can try to do is season your vegetables really good. You know what I'm saying? Put some hot sauce on it, season it. I remember back in the day, people used to put like a little bit of cheese, not a lot, but just a little bit of cheese on like their vegetables to try to give it some sort of a flavor. You have to try to figure out a way to enjoy your vegetables. You know what I mean? I think that if you muscle through it a little bit, um, you get used to it. It's like anything in the beginning, some things that are good for you aren't fun to do, like exercise, right? Like maybe you might know you need to get back in shape, and the first couple of sessions is horrible. Maybe even the first month is hell. But then you go on with your life, and then it's kind of like you wake up, you need to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? It becomes an addiction. Like I have to go. I didn't go today. You know what I mean? And it becomes like that with your food. You start eating a certain way. Next thing you know, your cravings for certain foods go away, and then cravings for good food start to come in. The hard part is the initial stage. The first week or two. That's the hard part. That's the biggest challenge. If you could just muscle through that, the rest of it is easy. You feel me? So try to use something like some hot sauce or something, or like something like that that's gonna give it some flavor. I don't know if you like hot sauce, but some kind of a seasoning. And then little by little, maybe you can start to even eliminate that little extra seasoning or something that you're putting on your vegetable to give it that flavor. You start to eliminate it as you get used to eating it. That's one of the strategies I've used, and it works for me at least. What's up, Coach? Showing love from the Bay Area, Oakland. Love what you do and appreciate all the knowledge and lessons on your channel. I appreciate you, Champ, for spreading the kind words, man. I'm trying to bring value to the boxing community, man. I want to teach. It's what I do. And right now we could teach on the internet. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, in boxing, a lot of people don't have access to teachers. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here who are holding mitts, but not everybody's teaching. Joshua Tate, what does it mean to fight your fight? Um, Fighting your fight basically means, controlling the pace, right? So if somebody is a brawler, so to speak, and you're a boxer, that means you don't start brawling. You know what I'm saying? You try to keep, your style. If somebody wants to throw big hooks and be real aggressive, that doesn't mean you have to stand there and exchange with them, right? You try to control them with your jab, you try to turn them, you try to do certain things that is going to keep them off balance. And basically, with that being said, you know what I mean? That's what it's called, fight your fight, and if somebody's trying to box you and you like to be the aggressor, that doesn't mean that you sit back and try to box them, right? You got to be aggressive. You got to do what aggressive fighters do in order to cut off the ring, go to the body, make the boxer uncomfortable, so to speak. Same things goes for counter punchers and things of that nature. So basically, what I'm saying is, fighting your fight means you don't deviate from your style to please the other guy. I remember I heard Teddy Atlas once say, fighting is like an argument. You know what I'm saying? You want to argue with your opponent. Arguing in boxing is good. So, if you sit there and you try to do what your fighter's doing, you're basically like, you're kind of just like succumbing to what he wants. And that's not what you want to do. You want to disagree with him. He wants to brawl. No, I want to box. Oh, you want to box? Well, we're going to brawl. And sometimes both of you guys fight the same way. And that's when you come to find out who's better at that particular style, right? You've seen two brawlers go at it before. You've seen two smart boxers go at it before. So, fighting your fight basically means stay true to yourself, stay true to what you do, and don't let your opponent make you get out of that. You know what I mean? Wise man, I'm a better street fighter than a boxer. Well, what makes you say that? What makes you say you're a better street fighter than a boxer? How much boxing experience do you have? And how much street fighting experience do you have? While you type that up, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my boy Georgie Porgy in here. What's up, my boy?
Hey, listen, man, I got the red light district going on in the back.
I see you, man. I see you. I see you. How you good, man? How's everything?
Listen, man, let me start off by saying I'm using your shuffle and explode, your 50 combos, the head, body, head stuff I got from you. My 40 and plus crew love it, man. We've been using it all the time. All that stuff you and Eddie put together for me, I've been using it, and everybody loves it, man. So go out there, get on that website, and start buying some courses from Coach, man.
Thank you for the plug, man. I appreciate you, man. Georgie, um, I think you would really like to build you from the ground up. I know that you work with a lot of beginners, and that right there, I think would be golden for your arsenal. So if you enjoy those other courses, check that one out. But talk to me, man. What's your thoughts on Canelo and Caleb Plant? I know you don't like Canelo, but I want to know. Um, what I want to know is, what's your honest, unbiased opinion?
I need Peter Nieves on here for me, man. Where is he, man? I need him to back me up on this one, man.
Yeah, today he's not in here.
Yeah.
He's usually in here. He's not in here today.
Yeah, Coach, I think I saw you and Eddie, what was it? Today's Wednesday, maybe Monday night. I'm a story guy. I love Caleb's story, man. Moms, the daughter passing away, man. I gotta get behind him, bro. That alone just drove me to him, man. Like it's just, and I mean, he was Olympic alternate. I know he didn't make the team, but you know, the Olympics, you didn't go to the Olympics. The Olympics comes and get you, right? I mean, the guy can fight, man. Dude can fight, man. I like the kid. I mean, my honest opinion, I am pulling for him, but I mean, he does fade. I mean, Canelo's gonna put the pressure on him. I mean, I know Canelo's gonna win, but I'm pulling for Canelo.
Hold on. Let's rewind for a second. Why is Canelo gonna win?
That 7th, 8th, 9th round when Caleb starts to slow down, I think that pressure might get to him, man, just like it does with everybody else. I would love to see the kid win, but like you said, my honest opinion, I think at some point Canelo catches up to him in them later rounds, man.
And how do you see the fight ending? Is it gonna go to decision, or is it gonna be a stoppage?
I'm gonna go with the stoppage, man. I mean, listen, Caleb's not gonna win a decision against Canelo. I mean, he could beat the guy eight rounds to 4, just like Triple G did. Rest in peace, Harold Letterman. I told you this before. I know you had Triple G winning one of those fights. But again, I watched Harold Letterman.
I didn't have Triple G winning.
I'm sorry, Canelo. Right, Coach. I'm sorry. Yeah. It might have been the second fight. I don't know, but Harold Letterman to this day, I mean, he's rolling over in his grave every time somebody talks about it. It was I mean, listen, he had it 8-4. People might disagree. In 30 years, I disagreed with him one time, in one fight. So I mean, Caleb's not going to get a decision.
I've been calling Caleb Plant Caleb all this time. Is his name Caleb? I'm confused right now. You got me bugging right now.
Or maybe I messed it up. Yeah. Is it Caleb?
It's
Is it
Caleb
Caleb?
Plant. At least
Yeah.
that's what I thought. But now I'm hearing you say Caleb, and I'm like, damn, maybe I got it wrong. I don't know, but I'm gonna
It's
think it's Caleb Plant. But go ahead.
it's like Khaled or Khalid, right? I mean,
Right. But go ahead.
no, I just you're not gonna beat Canelo on the cards. You're just not. I mean, even if you win the fight, you're not gonna beat him. And I don't think Caleb could knock him out. So I got to go with Canelo, man. As much as I don't want to, coach, I'm biased. I told you my story with him. He got 3 strikes against himself with me. And I just don't see you're not going to win the decision and you're not going to knock the guy out. So your chances are pretty slim, man. I mean, even if you do beat the guy in the card, you don't win. You know what I mean? So as silly as that sounds, it's just we've seen it happen a couple times. And actually, Caleb was right. He said, listen, Lara beat him, Triple G beat him that first fight. We seen him lose to Floyd. It just so happens that those other 2 fights went his way, and they probably shouldn't have. I mean, listen, we could sit here and go back and forth all day on that, but that's just the way it is with Canelo. You're not going to knock him out, and you're not going to win on the card. So, what's left really? I mean, that's you know what I mean. Like either you lose on the cards or you get knocked out. You know what I mean?
So we got it here on. This is going on YouTube. You are picking Canelo. You are the Canelo hater, and you are picking Canelo to win.
Yeah, coach. Because ultimately my decision was based on the fact that, again, I mean, you're not beating Canelo on a decision. I mean, again, it's happened quite a few times. I mean, Caleb could win the fight 8 rounds to 4 and still lose it. Which is unfortunate, man. I just don't see it happening. I love the guy, man.
So
Honestly,
you think they're gonna cheat him even if he wins?
yeah. I mean, and again, we've seen this several times with Canelo. It's Canelo. I mean, if it was somebody else, maybe it goes Caleb's way, but not against Canelo, man. You got to knock the guy out. You can knock Canelo out, they'll wake him up and still give him the belt at the end of the night. You know what I mean? It's Canelo, man. They'll give him some sniffing salts, wake him up, and then still give him the WBC belt. I mean, or IBF or whatever's on the line. So yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate, man. I mean, that's kind of what it comes with the territory when you fight Canelo, man. You're not gonna beat the guy in the cards. You're just not. And we've 1, 2, 3. We've seen several instances where that's happened. But yeah, again, I mean, I like Plant. I love his story. I like the fact he went out and got Andre Ward in his corner. He's got Coach Larry Wade with him. I mean, Larry Wade is top notch in his strength and conditioning. I mean, listen, and Plant looks great, man. I mean, I saw that most recent photo of him. I mean, he's what 6'1". I mean, he looks phenomenal shape, bro. So maybe that plays a part in this fight too. I mean, I don't know if anybody has mentioned it, but yes, Canelo looks phenomenal. He always does. But Plant looks special right there, man. I mean, like I said, 6 foot, 6'1", but he looked like a cruiserweight. I mean, the other day when I saw the picture, I couldn't believe how strong he looked. I can't even believe he's on weight, to be honest with you. I thought he was fighting for the Bridgerweight title against my man who you had on here, Jennings. I thought they were gonna go at it, but he looks like a monster. I'm surprised he's on weight, Coach. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that last photo. He looked like.
No, I see. I think I posted it.
Was that you that posted it?
Yeah, I posted him and Canelo side by side.
My God, man, he looked great, man. So maybe that's the difference of the fight. I don't know.
All right. Well, Georgie, man, thank you for your insight. I got a couple guys waiting to get in here.
Yep. All right, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you, Coach.
You're the man, my brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Yes, sir. My boy Georgie Porgy always got that insight on boxing. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's my guy, man. And like he said, man, get them courses, man. CA Power Hour, man, 60% off all the courses. And of course, the 50% off ground up 50. You know what I mean? You guys can go ahead and grab that, build you from the ground up. And let me go ahead and bring in my man, Ray Sean Hudson. What's up, my guy? Oh, you frozen. What's good, brother?
How's it going, man?
How's everything, man? How's everything with you?
Nothing much, living life, you know. I watch a lot of your videos, man. I've been learning a lot. I don't know if you got the chance to look at my Instagram, but I got a lot of videos of me teaching my son a lot of the things I see you do. My
Oh,
son,
really?
he's 9, so he's young. He's just starting. You know, he's about to have his first amateur fight out here, December 4th.
Where you at?
We're in California. So
Okay.
I believe the Guerreros are having some event over here on just for that we're getting ready for. But aside that, man, I'm listening to it, and truthfully, I got Caleb Plant. I put money on Caleb Plant, so I might be a little bit biased because those odds, bro. I'm an odds guy. I'm a gambler. You know, I seen those odds. I said I'll throw 50 on him because you know how much I'm gonna win off of 50 if he win. So
Right,
on top of it,
I think it's like 6-1 or something like that, right? Or something.
shoot, last time I checked it, yeah, basically 6-1. So yeah, it's a good come up, you know. Like $50, give me $300 if he win. But I really do believe that he can win too, because it's like, man, I study a lot of boxing. Let me tell you. And recently, I just don't feel like Canelo has fought anybody like Caleb Plant, and that's gonna really throw him off in general. Because like Caleb Plant's speed, for one, his speed is something else. It's gonna make him real hesitant. Canelo does have a lot of experience, you know. He has fought in fast guys, but at the same time, has he fought in a fast guy who's 6'1" with that much of an arm reach advantage on him? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what was the guy's name? Colin Smith. He was a hard puncher. Canelo, you know, smothered him and didn't give him the range to punch him the way he needed to, so he didn't really get to feel no power at 168. Neither, from my point of view. I don't think he's fought in anybody who really punched him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Plant hurt him, knocked him down. And now I'm not gonna say it's like a perfect, oh, he's really finna end the fight knockdown, but I see it more of an off balance shot of him reaching. You know, Caleb Plant is really fast, and Canelo's what 5'7", 5'7" against a guy who's 6'1" with that speed, man.
I think it's 5'9".
Man, Canelo's 5'7". You know what I mean? They might have him listed as 5'9", but you know what I mean. Like it's gonna be interesting. The point is, man, that height advantage is something else. The last time he fought somebody who had that height advantage over him was what, Callum Smith, right? And Callum Smith, I don't know what was up with Callum Smith that night. It was kind of like Canelo had him with his hands in his pocket. I don't think that's going to happen with Caleb Plant, though. I really don't. I truly believe the speed is going to really surprise Canelo, and he's going to have his hands in his pocket to about the 8th round. He has that mindset. He keeps talking about, oh, yeah, he'll get tired by the 8th round. What happens if he doesn't? You see what I mean? I feel like Canelo is really banking on him getting tired and stopping it, but what if he doesn't? Like everybody's pointing out, he got Coach Wade. Coach Wade is a great coach. I remember when he was training Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz came in excellent shape for that last Wilder fight, man. Like I seen it, and it was like, yeah, that guy's a great coach. You know, I've been watching it, so I believe his stamina might hold up because I think Caleb has a game plan to just simply outbox the man, make him look bad, and just make it to where it's a real boxing lesson. And I think Canelo knows that. That's why he keeps saying it. Oh, it's going to be a tough fight for the beginning, but he's really banking on him getting tired. And what if he doesn't? That's my main question. I don't know if you got anybody else that wants to get on, but that's my main thing. I'm kind of like in the middle of work at the same time. But that's what I truthfully believe. I really believe that Caleb Plant can actually outbox Canelo with the speed, angles, and all that stuff to his advantage. Let me know what you think about that, man.
All right, Ray Sean. Well, I mean, listen, man, you stated your opinion. You sound pretty confident in your opinion. So Saturday we're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say thank you for choosing me as somebody that you like to learn from and teach your son. That's a huge honor. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I think this Saturday is gonna be interesting, man. You know, I think that Canelo and Caleb Plant make for a very interesting fight. I think Caleb Plant has a fantastic jab. I think he has good lateral movement. I think that Caleb Plant can box very well, but I also think that Canelo is a fantastic counterpuncher. He's very elusive. You don't know where the punches are coming from. He's extremely experienced. He's fought at this level for quite a bit. And all those factors, you have to take them all into account. We never seen Caleb Plant fight at this level. We've seen Canelo at this level now for almost a decade. So this is what we're going to find out. We're going to find out if Caleb Plant can just jump right into this level. You know, when Canelo first jumped into this level, he jumped in against Floyd Mayweather. And we saw what happened, right? He got completely outboxed. He got dominated. And then he went ahead and he had some very good matches to build him back up to where he is today. He had Lara, he had Trout, he had, Danny Jacobs, he had Triple G twice. Caleb Plant is jumping from, I don't even know who his last opponent was. No disrespect to Caleb. I know he's fought a few people, and now he's going right to Canelo, arguably today's best fighter. So it's going to be very interesting, man. I think that it's going to be hard for him to outbox him easily. He may be able to present some really good issues, but it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, see, I hear what you're saying. But you see, my whole perspective and my real point of view is I don't think Canelo has fought anybody at an elite level at that weight class neither, though. You see what I mean? And that's what I'm going at it with. It's not that he hasn't fought at that level, because we know Canelo, he's very experienced. This is true. But how experienced is he at that elite level at 168? You see what I mean? And that's like, I'm questioning the weight and if that's going to bother him, because all these guys he's fought in stay in place. You know what I mean? They stay in place. They don't really move like Caleb Plant does at 168. How Canelo is going to do chasing somebody around the ring at 168 for rounds? I mean, Billy Joe Saunders did do the moving, but Billy Joe Saunders got tired. He caught him. But that's the only real comparison. And Billy Joe Saunders is not Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? It's a difference. Otherwise,
well, all we could do is see it at this point, Rayshawn. You make a lot of points.
I'm excited, man. Don't get me wrong. My uncle.
I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be back on here right after the fight. Regardless what happens, I want to see you back in here. Whether Canelo wins or Caleb wins, and if he wins, man, you can go ahead and say, "I told you, show coach." Or you can, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think went wrong. All right, Rashawn, but thank you so much for pulling up, my boy.
All right, man. You have a good night, man.
You too. And that's what I'm talking about, man. People pulling up in here. If you want to pull up in here and talk to me, man, I seen somebody say, can you bring a Canelo fan in here? Well, the link, I am putting the link right there. Let's bring a Canelo fan in here. And let me hear what your perspective is, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, there's no doubt that Caleb Plant could box. And I've been telling y'all this I think for the last 2 weeks, I've been telling y'all that Caleb Plant could box. And I don't just say that because I'm friends with people that Caleb Plant is close to. But what I am saying is he can box. And Rayshawn made some very nice points in that right there. He has a very good chance. Porgy said that he thinks that Caleb Plant fades later in the fight. So we're going to have to find out. What I'm going to do is I am going to actually study a little bit of Caleb Plant tonight. So tomorrow when I come back on here for episode 4, I'm going to give you some insight on what I saw from studying Caleb thoroughly. I haven't really studied Caleb thoroughly. I've seen him fight a little bit. And every time I seen him fight, I've been like, damn, this kid's pretty freaking good. But I never sat there and really analyzed Caleb. So I'm going to study him for the next day. And I'm going to get to you guys tomorrow for episode 4 with a true, honest assessment on what I think about Caleb and his real chances. I've been watching Canelo since Canelo was freaking fighting at 147 pounds. So I'm very aware of what Canelo could do. I think we all are. I think at this point, people love the underdog and they want to see somebody new, shake things up a little bit. But at the same time, Canelo has some real diehard fans, man, that are rocking with him. Let's go ahead and let's bring in Fullman.
Hey, how's it going, bro? I like your channel so much.
I'm good. How are you, my brother?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. I'm chilling, man.
All right. So what's up? What's on your mind?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about this fight a lot. In the coming days. Since it's coming up, and it's like if Caleb Plant does win, I'm thinking it'll be good for boxing because it'll probably open up some more fights to happen. In the different weight divisions. Versus people holding their breath. For a Canelo fight because of the simple fact they know that with a Canelo fight, that's going to be their biggest payday. But I just question how can you do it, although we know that boxers who are slick, athletic, and have good footwork do have success with Canelo. We saw it with the Lara fight, although he didn't get the decision. We saw it with the Floyd Mayweather fight. Um, we saw it a little bit with the Billy Joe Saunders fight, but I think like in order for Caleb Plant to maybe have some success, he's gonna have to try to like somehow, some way hurt him. And I don't know how he can hurt him. The only way I can see him hurting him is like him, like probably setting him up with like one of those equilibrium shots like Jaron Ennis did to Delorme, because that's how he hurt him. He hit him, he rocked his equilibrium. It wasn't necessarily about how hard the punch was. It was just where the punch landed. You know. So I know Caleb Plant is an accurate puncher, but I think he would have to be more accurate in this fight because I mean, like when you really think about it, who has really hurt Canelo in these like previous fights? You know what I mean?
Well, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just muted.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, what I think you make some good points. I don't know necessarily if he has to hurt Canelo like a Jaron Ennis did to Delorme. That's a bit of an extreme hurt. That's basically a stoppage right there. But I do think he needs to earn his respect. And I do think he will earn his respect if he utilizes a good jab. I believe that the key for Caleb Plant, just from what I know, is going to be a good jab. If he can get Canelo to respect the jab, then things will flow easier. And the fact that he's a taller guy, the fact that he has I'm not going to say fantastic, the fact that he has very good lateral movement, the fact that he understands how to box, I think that the jab is going to be the key for Caleb Plant. Would you agree?
Um, I definitely agree, and I agree it will have to be a variation of the jab. It'll have to be like a flicker jab at one time. It'll have to be a stiff jab at another time. It'll have to be one of the jabs that touches the glove so he can just set up other things. Sometimes you jab with your intention not even to like contact the guy's face or the body, but you want to contact his glove so you can set up some other stuff that maybe he's not expecting you to set up when he's like pairing with his glove. So he'll have to have like a variation of the jab. And I think if he does that, he could have some success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that when you establish the jab, that comes without saying if you understand the game. But he has to be careful that he doesn't get countered as he's jabbing. Or like I said yesterday, I can see Caleb Plant jabbing and maybe getting a little too happy with his jab. Canelo slipping and coming with that overhand right that he likes to throw. So this is going to be a very interesting fight, without a doubt.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Man, it would just be cool in boxing, like for like the dude that I mean, I would say like 95% of the boxing world are writing him off. You know what I mean? So it would be cool in boxing if like something like this happened. Like this would be a good story for boxing, like a good storyline.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for the purists, for the boxing purists. I think a lot of people are secretly rooting for Caleb. I think people are afraid to come out and say they think Caleb may win. I think some people might not even know enough about Caleb Plant, and I think that's the reason why people are writing him off. So that's why I even said myself, even though I know Caleb, I've seen him fight. I want to watch him in the next day and just see a little bit more, see if I see any holes in his game that I think Canelo is going to capitalize on. Because you know, we've seen Canelo for the better part of the decade. We haven't seen that much of Caleb Plant.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because I was watching one of his fights the other night, and you know, one thing I noticed is that he had like his intention to like set up things and establish off the jab. I think like from just like looking in, I think if he's more fluid, because sometimes in his last fight it kind of looked like he was a little bit stiff. I could be wrong though, but if he's like fluid, then I think he can have even like his chances are higher. You know what I mean? If he just has like a fluid kind of way of doing things. But I'm gonna watch the Caleb Truax fight tonight. Many people said that wasn't a good performance by him, but I just want to see some things myself too.
Absolutely. Yo, Fullman, man, you've been a lot of fun to talk to, man. Like I told my boy Rashawn, who hopped in here, I want to see you here Saturday after the fight. I was actually considering doing a play-by-play while the fight's going on. I don't know if I want to do that. I personally like to enjoy the fights with the sound on.
Right,
But
right. Same here.
but, but if the fight is off, I mean, after the fight, I'm definitely gonna be on here to chop it up with y'all. So I want to see you. I want to see you back over here.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely, bro. I'll definitely tap in with you, bro.
Nah, my boy. Thank you for pulling up.
All right, thank you for having me.
Take care. Yes, sir. So as you can see, guys, don't be scared to pull up in here and talk to me, man. You know what I mean? That's what this platform is all about. It's about building community. It's about talking to you guys. You know what I mean? I did say I'm gonna bring guests on, but sometimes you guys are the guests. You feel me? I want to hear what the real people got to say about boxing. You don't got to be intimidated to pull up in here and talk to me. State your opinion. You know what I'm saying? And if you have any questions, of course, you know the Q&A is always open to you guys while I'm doing these no days off November. This is episode 3. We're gonna go to episode 4, 5, 6, 7. Listen, we committed. So if you are in here, you know, I really appreciate you because we're gonna keep this going. Let's see what people are talking about. My man Ken said, "What's up, coach? What's going on, my guy?" You know, I'm going back now on the questions right now, obviously, because I was talking to my man Fullman. Coach Anthony, you think that Plant box is better than Saunders? I think Saunders' IQ is a bit higher, but I could be wrong. I guess we'll have to see. Um, you know, it's hard to tell. I thought that Billy Joe Saunders looked so good when he fought Lemieux, man. I was so highly impressed with him in that performance. I believe that if he would have fought Canelo in the very next fight, it would have been a much more competitive fight than what we saw. Um, I think that he's a southpaw, and I think that it's hard to compare him to Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has a different style. He's an orthodox fighter. He's taller, natural 168 pounder. So it's just hard, man. It's just a hard comparison. I wouldn't want to compare Saunders to Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? I think Caleb Plant has more of an American style, more sophisticated, slick style than Saunders done. I think Saunders looks good, though, when he does look good. So I can't really answer that question in full. But what I will say is this: Caleb Plant is a fantastic boxer from what I've seen. And that's what gives Canelo trouble. Now, I'm by no means saying Caleb Plant's going to win this fight. But what I am saying is I wouldn't be surprised if he did. You know, and I think a lot of people would be very surprised if he won. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be one of the people surprised, you know what I mean? Because I can see how he can win. I already can see how Caleb Plant can win. I can see him outboxing Canelo. I can see Canelo getting frustrated. I can see Canelo falling behind on points. But I also can see Canelo slipping and countering and hurting Caleb. I can also see Canelo breaking him down later in the fight. I can also see him, you know, getting off early and possibly hurting Caleb early. I can see all of these different scenarios. So this is a fight that I can see happening a few different ways. The only way I really can't see this fight ending is Caleb Plant stopping Canelo. But I can see Caleb Plant winning a decision against Canelo. or possibly getting robbed, like Georgie said in a fight where he is winning and he should have won. I can see that outcome as well. So basically, I can see every outcome other than a Caleb Plant stoppage. I think that Canelo has proven that he has a phenomenal chin. He fought Triple G twice. He got hit a ton against Floyd Mayweather. So I think that he's a solid, his chin is grand. He fought Kovalev, obviously. I think that was a shot, Kovalev, but Kovalev couldn't do nothing to him. So, it's an interesting fight. Hey, coach, you got a point there. Can you talk a little bit about national styles? For example, what can be considered an American style? American fighters, for the most part, when you think about the American boxing style, I mean, I think that you can say Caleb Plant has an American boxing style. Guys like Floyd Mayweather, that's an American boxing style. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is the top of the food chain for an American boxing style. But a guy who understands how to shoulder roll, a guy who understands how to bend the waist, a guy who understands how to use the jab and use a lot of lateral movement, a guy that runs combinations, a guy who doesn't rely only on power. That's an American boxing style, in my opinion. In my opinion, an American boxing style is a guy who really knows how to box. Clean, very pretty to the eye, um, flashy at moments. That's an American boxing style, so to speak. I think when you talk about different cultures like Mexicans, I think that obviously Canelo is a Mexican, but as you can see, he's adopted some American attributes. When you see Canelo doing things like shoulder rolling and slipping and rolling the way he likes to do it, it reminds you of an American style. I think that's why people like to say that after he fought Floyd Mayweather, he's improved tenfold. And that's because you see him more and more adopting a lot of the things that an American boxer would do, like a shoulder roll, a bend at the waist, a counter off the shoulder roll, stuff like that. Now, I think a Mexican style, I think you guys know that a Mexican style is more of a hands up, go to the body, willing to exchange, break you down, a very high volume puncher for the most part, unless you have really good punch placement like a Julio Cesar Chavez, who had really good punch placement. And don't get me wrong, Julio Cesar Chavez also has some very nice upper body movement, I must say. Julio Cesar Chavez doesn't get enough credit for his upper body movement. He was very slick, very good defensively that people don't talk about. But for the most part, most Mexican guys are, guys that aren't shy with punches, guys that are willing to exchange, guys that are willing to go to the body a lot. I think the Mexican fighters go to the body much more often than the American style boxers do. And of course, you got your European styles, guys who like to keep both hands up high. You use a lot of in and out motion. The head movement's there, but you don't see it utilized as often as an American, right? American guys are, they rely on a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of this, and the more UK guys are more bop, 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 and in and out, almost similar to an amateur boxing system. So, everybody got their styles. And I think if you can incorporate a little bit of each style, that's how you make a really, really good, solid boxer. I think there's a time and a place for all those styles to be uh, incorporated. You feel me? What do you think about Demetrius Andrade? I think that Demetrius is a very good fighter. I don't know how much Demetrius has left, for crying out loud. They basically done shelved his whole career. I mean, what can you say? I think Demetrius Andrade is a sad story in boxing. Never got a chance to reach his full potential, you know, and I don't know if he ever will. We got Danny. Danny, what's up? Danny, talk to me. All right, we're gonna let Danny go. Try to give you a chance, my guy. Um, yeah, guys. One more opportunity for you guys to pull in here. You know what I mean? And come chop it up with me real quick. And in the meantime, you guys already know, man, I got the sales going. Round up 50 for Build You from the Ground Up. And of course, the CA Power Hour, gives you 60% off all my other courses, man. You know, I got the Philly shell system, how to set traps and counter punch angles and how to create them. 150 combinations, basically 50 head, 50 body head, footwork. Just damn. I got a lot of stuff on there, man. I'm starting to build my catalog pretty deep, and I got some more stuff coming very soon, man. Be on the lookout, man. The goal now is to take this online course thing very seriously. My boy Joshua Tate said, "Thanks for all you do for us, man. I appreciate you, man. You know, you guys keep me motivated for wanting to do this. You know what I mean? So we're having some fun with this right now, you know? We're having some fun, man. I'm having a good time talking to you guys. My boy Caesar said, I love the Mexican style, but I'm trying to be brain live like Eddie Chambers at the end of my career. Yeah, man. You guys see Eddie, man. You'll never know he was a fighter. You'll never know Eddie was a fighter, man, because he didn't get hit a lot. I think that defense is very, very important. Oh yeah, defensive principles 101. How did I forget about that? It's one of my favorite courses. But yeah, defense is very important, man. You have to train defense. What's more important, speed or power, man? You know, they're both important, man. It's like almost asking like what's more important, offense or defense? You see what I'm saying? It's like it's one of those questions where it's not that one's more important than the other. They both need to be developed, to the best of your ability. And of course, sometimes in boxing, you're better at one thing than the other. You know, you got some guys that are better offensively than they are defensively. Some guys are better defensively than they are offensively. Some guys are naturally faster and some guys naturally hit harder. What's more important isn't really what matters. What's more important is what do you know how to pull off what you have as an attribute. You know, if you're a fast fighter, do you know how to win being a fast fighter? If you're a big puncher, do you know how to win being a big puncher? Because if you got a big punch and you can't land the punch, then what good is it? And if you have a lot of speed, but you can't keep your opponent off of you because you ain't got no power, then what good is the speed? So, you need to have everything, to the best of your ability. You need to have good enough defense, good enough offense, good enough speed, and good enough power. And of course, everybody's going to be a little bit different. Some guys are tall, some guys are short, some guys are short, some guys are tall. You see what I'm saying? Some guys are, muscular, other guys are very athletic built. So, you take what you have and then you try to maximize your strengths and work on your weaknesses. So there's not one that's more important than the other, but the goal is to improve everything to the best of your ability. What age is considered too late / old for professional boxing at a high level? It really just depends, man. Like Tevin Farmer started at 19 years old and he won a world title by the time he was 29 years old. Took him 10 years. He got kind of lucky. He got a good team. He had a good manager. He got brought up the right way. They got him the right fights. That's almost like an anomaly story. Same thing with Bernard Hopkins. He went pro at 26 when he came home from prison, and he ended up being, the freaking oldest middleweight champion, and he had the belt for a long time, and he did very well at an older age. But for most guys, that's not the case. So, just because you see somebody do something doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for everybody. Let's just say you start boxing at 21, you know, it might take you till you're 31 to win a world title. You know what I'm saying? So, And that's if all the stars align. You know, you get the manager, you get the right training, you get the right fights, you win the fights, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So uh, the younger, the better for sure. If you're trying to box at a very high level, the younger, the better. So if you're considering starting and you're already a little bit older, then I would suggest you start now, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. You know what I mean? Guys aren't going to want to deal with you. When I say guys, I'm going to mean managers and promoters aren't going to want to deal with you other than you being an opponent saying, yeah, we'll put you in there with this kid who just came out the Olympics, who just won gold, who had 450 amateur fights, who's knocked everybody out his last 10 fights. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, this is my first fight. You feel me? So you definitely don't want to be too old. Yo, Jay, what's good? Is it beneficial to fight with your strong hand in front? I mean, it can be if you're trained that way and that's how you've been trained and groomed and everything like that. You know, it can work. Guys like Oscar De La Hoya converted to southpaw. He fought as an orthodox fighter, but he was a lefty. What was he known for? He was known for his left hook. So it can work, but I just think that a lot of guys have to understand that the reason why you put your power hand on the rear side is because you use your power hand more. So for instance, if I'm a righty, an orthodox fighter, I want my right hand back here traditionally. You know what I mean? When we talk about boxing, we talk about traditionally, because you use your right hand more throughout the day is your dominant hand. When you're boxing too, you're always going to use your lead hand more than your rear hand because you're a jabber, right? So if I'm throwing a jab, I'm throwing 2 to 3 lead hands before I throw a right hand. So when I'm doing that, I'm developing my weaker hand. So now I'm a two-handed fighter, right? So if I put my power hand in the front, I'm going to want to use this right hand more than I'm going to want to use my weak hand. But if I train myself to put my weak hand in front, and I have to use it more, obviously, because I'm jabbing and I'm hooking off of it, eventually the goal is to even out the playing field. It's like a muscle imbalance, right? Like if you do too much one exercise and the other area doesn't get enough exercise, then you get an imbalance. It's the same thing with your hands. You know, if you're only using one hand, you become a one-handed fighter. So the goal is to strengthen up both hands. So that's why we do that. Now, some kids from when there was a baby, I actually had my friend here yesterday, Rashim Jefferson, who's a boxing trainer in the Philadelphia area, has been around a very long time. He taught his son how to box. He had his son fight like a southpaw, even though he was a righty. And he just did that because he felt comfortable from a baby doing that. And he just kept him that way. It's not that he meant to do it that way. He just kept him that way because it was working for him as a baby. And the next thing you know, he kept him that way. But he said it himself that most people that he trains, he teaches them how to do it the other way, and he tries his best to keep them that way. But if they resist and they just can't get it, then he'll go ahead and allow you to switch. And you have to understand, most people feel like they feel more comfortable with their power hand in the front when they first walk in the gym. I know I did. I was like, oh, I feel more comfortable like this. Of course you do. Yes, your power hand. So you're going to feel like that in the beginning, but you have to retrain the mind. You have to give it some time. So can it be beneficial? Yes, but I would still suggest that you try it the traditional way for enough time before you rule it off. Because, like for instance, now I can never go back to fighting with this hand in the front. I feel much comfortable fighting with my lead hand in the front. And to be honest with you, now I can use both hands equally, you know? Coach, I trained at a Mexican gym in LA, but when I'm sparring and incorporating the Philly show, my coach always tell me to keep my hands up even though I'm not getting hit. Any advice? Well, that could be a little bit of an issue because you're trying to build a relationship with your coach, and your coach is probably the primary person you should be listening to. If it doesn't work out for you in the long term and you feel that you're not improving because he's limiting you, because he doesn't believe in the Philly show, then you may want to start to look elsewhere for a different coach. And I don't mean that in any disrespect. But a lot of the times, the reason why coaches tell you to keep your hands up is because he knows what may happen in the future and he doesn't want you to get hurt later down the line. So, for instance, if I got a kid and he's working the Philly show and I don't like how he's doing it, or I feel like he's not, he's only getting away with it because of the level of competition that he's sparring isn't up to par yet, or I feel like he may get caught, then I'm gonna tell him the same thing. I'm gonna say, listen, dude, bring your hands up, bro. Like, cut that shit out. But if a trainer like me, I also teach it. So you're gonna probably have times where I'm gonna tell my guy, listen, I want you to fight behind your shoulder today, and I want you to spar. I want you to spar behind your shoulder today because we're looking to improve it. But I have a plan, right? I'm probably gonna put him in there with somebody that he's better than, so he can go ahead and work on those techniques, work on those skills. Because if I put him in there to work on his shoulder roll against a guy who can hurt him, he can really get hurt. You got to understand that the lead hand low is a dangerous tool. I've been seeing more and more trainers say, oh man, keeping the hands up is overrated and all of this crap. And honestly, I disagree wholeheartedly. Keeping the hands up is one of the best things you can do as a boxer. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the shoulder roll. I teach the shoulder roll. I believe in the shoulder roll and I know that it works. But at the same time, I know that the risk that come with it. So you have to understand there's a big risk for a good reward. But to make a long story short, I would still work on it, in shadow boxing, visualization, and all those things. But at some point, you're going to have to come to some sort of compromise with your coach, or you're going to have to find a different coach. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be under a coach, you have to listen to your coach. That's the reason you put him in your corner. That's the reason he's there. So you can't be like, hey, Coach Anthony said to do this. I'm not coaching you. He's coaching you. So you have to listen to your coach. So if that makes any sense, you know what I mean? I don't want you to stop working on the Philly show if you feel like it's working for you. But at the same time, you have to come to some sort of a compromise, so that whether that means you have to find a new coach, have a sit down with him and say, listen, I feel really, really comfortable behind the shoulder roll. Please let me work on this somehow. Let me prove to you that I can. There's only but so many things you can do in that situation. You know what I mean? Straight knowledge, J.O. Smitty. What up, my boy? Appreciate you pulling up. Black Friday special. Black Friday special for the program. Listen, man, I'm basically giving Black Fridays right now for attending the live. I'm not promoting any sales anywhere else other than these lives. So if you're on these lives, you're actually getting the promotions. You're getting the 50% off the ground up 50, and you're getting 60% off all my other courses right now just for being here, for being a supporter. A lot of people do super chats and stuff. And super chats are great. I highly appreciate them for the people whenever they do a super chat. But I'd rather you get a course, because I'd rather you leave here with something be other than just the knowledge you're getting here. I want something that you can go to, look at, watch, enjoy, learn from, work on. So if you haven't gotten a course yet and you want to support me, that's the way to really support me, because obviously you're going to get something in return that's going to give you real value. My goal is to provide real value. I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing. You know what I'm saying? So consider it. Good day, coach. Your boxing IQ is phenomenal. Like to know what fighting style you would consider best for bare knuckle. Ooh. Bare knuckle is a different game, so to speak. That's a really good question. I'm probably not going to block a lot of shots bare knuckle like this, because them shots are going to slide through eventually. You know what I mean? So I'm probably going to be deflecting shots a little bit more. I'm going to be using a little bit more lateral movement to get away from shots. Okay. And everything else is going to be similar. Like, I'm going to still work my jab. I'm going to still, use lateral movement. I'm still going to be very alert. But the only difference is going to be mainly the way I the defend punches, because Defending punches traditionally, like catching a hook like this, I can see. You see, like look. You see that little hole right there? Like I can see the shot sliding through. You know, I can see the shot sliding off the knuckle and hitting me right in the temple. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be a little bit more hands out, a little bit more, so I can see the shots coming because it's a little bit harder now. To defend those punches. I'm gonna be using some footwork. You know, bare knuckle boxing is not my game. Not something that I would have to watch a little bit more to make this slight adjustments. Traditional boxing will work for the most part, but you're gonna have to make a few adjustments based off of the defense. If I had to say anything. What's your thoughts on sparring? How much should people be sparring? Does weight class matter in sparring? Um, I think that it just depends on what level you are, what you got coming up. Every situation is a little bit different. How intense is the sparring? I know guys that used to spar every single day, but the sparring wasn't super intense. And then I knew guys who only would spar 2 times a week. I've known others who spar 3 times a week. There's no one right answer. It just depends on when's your fight date, what kind of shape are you in, what kind of sparring are you doing, um, what needs to be worked on. It's just everything comes down to factors. I don't know how much you guys know about bodybuilding and nutrition and stuff, but if you was to go to a nutrition coach or bodybuilding coach that gives you a nutrition plan, he's basically gonna tailor it to you, right? Anybody could tell you cut the carbs out. Anybody could tell you eat a lot of protein, right? But when we're being specific, I need to know how much you weigh. I need to know what your goals are. Then I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, well, based off of what you've told me, we're going to put you, let me just make up an easy number. We're going to put you on a 2,500 calorie diet. We're going to put you on 250 grams of protein. We're going to put you on 150 grams of carbohydrates, and we're going to put you on 70 grams of fat. I'm just making up numbers. That's based off of what I know. I know that you weigh this much, and I know that you're trying to get to this much. Then after a week or two, I might say, okay, now we're going to decrease how much carbohydrates you're eating, and we're going to decrease a little bit of the fat, and we're going to keep your protein the same, and we're going to drop your calories from 2,500 to 2,300, so on and so forth, right? Based off of the data. Well, it's the same thing in boxing. Based off of what I know. Based off of what I know is what I'm going to make a decision on how much we're sparring. I'm also going to make the decision based off what kind of sparring partners I have. I'm also going to make the decision based off of your personality and how you handle sparring. There's no template like this is the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? And just because you're a heavyweight and just because you're a southpaw, the game doesn't change. A lot of people are like, hey, man, I'm a southpaw. How should I train? The same way a righty trains. Oh, I'm a heavyweight. How should I train? The same way a freaking middleweight trains. Of course, when you're a heavyweight, there's going to have to be some adjustments made, like, how much you can do because of how heavy you are. But the routine is basically the same. Heavyweights are jumping rope. Heavyweights are hitting bags. Heavyweights are sparring. Heavyweights are whatever. Now, heavyweights do have to be careful. It's the same thing. If you're having hard sparring, whether you're a heavyweight or a middleweight, you're probably not sparring them, often. If you're having hard sparring, if I put a guy to spar on Tuesday and they really took some punishment, that might be the only spar he does that week. It might only be one. That's why it's very important that sparring is controlled. That's why boxing coaches frown upon you doing this on your own. Like the courses and everything I sell are fantastic to learn, to educate your brain and to practice on a heavy bag shadow box, maybe with a friend with some mitts or even with your coach. If your coach appreciates my knowledge and wants to learn and wants to, work on my thoughts. But at the same time, it's not for you to just go ahead and start doing without supervision, professional supervision, because you can get really hurt sparring. You should not be sparring without supervision. And it's for these kind of reasons. Somebody with experience is going to make these decisions. Like, okay, man, listen, we're only going to spar 1 time this week, but we're going to work. Or we're going to spar 2 times this week. Or we're going to spar every day this week, but we're not going to go that hard, and these are the specifics. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button for Coach Anthony. Yo, I forgot, man. My moderator couldn't be here today. He was in here yesterday kicking ass. I don't know if you guys are in here for that, but that boy was reminding people to hit that like button. But yes, man, if you guys can hit the like button, share the channel, make sure you subscribe, put the bell notifications on. I'm going live every single day for the month of November. There's no time limit. Like I said, one day might be shorter than the other. One day might be longer than the other. It just depends on the vibes. You know what I mean? If you guys keep the questions coming, if you guys keep the energy up, and if I got the energy, right, we're going to work together on this. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. We're going to talk about the fight. We're going to talk about whatever's going on. Obviously, it's Canelo fight week. Nothing too crazy has happened yet. So, you know, everybody just gave their opinion on it. You know, we're going to talk more as we continue to see more. Obviously, they're going to meet up a few more times before the fight. I'm sure we're going to get some excitement. They were pretty humble today. But in the meantime, we can also do boxing Q&As and stuff like that, man. You know, I love talking boxing. Eugenie Malo, Coach, what is the best boxing tool in boxing in your opinion? When you say boxing tool, can you be a little bit more specific? Are you talking about equipment, or are you talking about punches or, you know, techniques? Not sure. I'm gonna follow that nutrition plan, Coach. I might turn into the Hulk with 250 grams of protein compared to the 100 I usually get. Well, I mean, they say you should be eating at least 1 gram of protein per body weight, or at least 0.7 of the grams of your body weight. So if you're a 220-pound guy like me, they recommend that I eat 220 grams of protein per day, maybe even 200 if I don't want to hit that high of a number, but somewhere in that area. So, I mean, if you're eating 100 grams, I'm hoping that, you know, you're not a heavy guy. Hopefully you're 130 pounds, maybe 150 max, you know what I mean? But you should definitely get your protein up as much as you can, depending on your weight. Do you speak Spanish, Coach? I speak un poquito. Yo hablo un poquito. See, I ain't know I could talk that Spanish. Now, I speak enough, you know, but I'm not fluent. You know what I mean? Equipment. Well, I mean, I think good old shadow boxing is very underrated. So therefore, you don't even need equipment. You know what I mean? I think good old shadow boxing is very underrated. And then I believe that the heavy bag would be the very next best tool. So if I am going to put a guy on a program and we only had one piece of equipment, is going to be the heavy bag. And then, of course, shadow boxing. So we're going to shadow box and we're going to hit the bag and then we're going to spar. Those are the only things I think that we really need. Now, mitt work is good. I think mitt work is very good if used properly, but not necessary. You can make a lot of things happen without the mitts. So shadow boxing and the heavy bag, without a doubt, are the two best things you can do besides spar. Coach, have you heard of 52 blocks, and have you ever considered adding it to your boxing training for those who want to train in boxing? I know what 50. I've heard of 52 blocks. I've seen a few videos of it back in the days. But no, I never considered adding it to my boxing. I don't feel like it's necessary for boxing. It might be, you know, a beautiful thing to see for what they do. But for boxing, I don't think 52 blocks is necessary. The boxing stance, you have to understand, is very efficient. You know, when you're thinking about a boxer, hands up, elbows in, let's just say by the book, a nice relaxed hands up in front of you. Jab comes, catch. Hook comes, catch. Right hand comes, catch. Body shots, catch. Other body shot comes catch. Anything up the middle, close up. I don't need to be doing all these crazy blocks. Not necessary for boxing. Is 52 blocks something effective? It can be. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure if you get good at anything, you can be effective, but not necessary for boxing. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, coach, how much is coaches paid when it comes to professional boxers? For example, a full camp. Every camp is different. Every situation is different. So, I can't really answer that. That's kind of like when somebody asks me about how many times did you sort of heavyweight spar a day or week or whatever. It's like every situation is different. I work with Hank Lundy. He fought for the world title. I got paid different working with him than I did with Tevin Farmer when Tevin Farmer fought for the world title. And then when I fought with it really depends on what the fighter's getting paid. That's the first thing. And general rule of thumb is that the coach gets 10% of the purse. So if a fighter's making 100,000, you're getting 10,000. If a fighter's making $1 million, you're making 100,000. And then if you have some sort of an agreement with the managers and stuff, you might get a weekly pay on top of that. But that's a case by case situation. So every situation is different at the professional level. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with professional boxers. So yeah, to answer your question, there's no one number. Yeah, guys. So you guys already know, man. We got the CA Power Hour for the courses, all the courses, and of course, Ground Up 50. Don't hesitate, grab some. And unless we get a boatload of questions rolling in, I'm about to maybe get out of here soon, man. Been on here for an hour and 21 minutes. Thought I was only going to be on here for an hour today, hour and 21 minutes, man. So, y'all want to keep this going, I'm going to need y'all to roll in with the questions. If not, I'm going to get up out of here. What's up, Coach? What's going on, Mike? Who are some of the boxers you enjoy watching the most? Right now, man, I got to say, man, Jaron Ennis probably has taken the cake for that, man. He's just explosive, super good boxer. Pretty impressed with him. I like to watch Terrence Crawford. I like Canelo. I like Caleb Plant. They get to fight each other this weekend, so I'm excited about that. Let's see. I like Devin Haney. I like Javante Davis. I like Shakur Stevenson. I like Errol Spence when he's fighting somebody good. So, to name a few, I like, a lot of the top guys that are out today. I'm enjoying a lot of these guys. I like guys who could box and I like guys who could punch. ADS, I recently bought your footwork course and have implemented it in my kids' curriculum. Thanks, man. Well, thank you. Thank you for purchasing the footwork course. And I'm glad that it's being used. And I'm glad that you're able to use it in a fashion that is able to help the kids. So appreciate that. And I appreciate you saying that. How important is it for a fighter to build a powerful mindset, and how do you think they should go about doing it? Oh man, what's up, Kenyon, man? Big shout out to Kenyon, man. Make sure y'all check him out, man. He's a good fighter. Now I see you a coach, man. I peeped your page. I see you coaching. But how important is it for a fighter to build a powerful mindset, and how do you think they should go about doing it? I think it comes with repetition. I think it comes with your corner, your coach. Sometimes even some of the personal things you go through in life. But I just think that it comes down to your will and your why you're doing what you're doing. You know, when you really want something, no matter what it is, you know, you lock in and you have to really want to do this. You have to really want to box. Boxing can't be an option for you. It has to be what you want. This is it. This is all I'm doing. I've made a decision. I really want to box. And then through certain experience boxing, you know, competition, sparring, training regimens, you know, when you think you can't do, let's just say you run for the first time, you run 5 miles and you never ran 5 miles before, and now you run it. You're like, oh, you okay? I did that. Now you just built a little bit of strength, you know what I'm saying? Or when your coach makes you do these intense conditioning drills and heavy bag drills, and the first 10 times you tried it, you couldn't finish it, but then one day you finish it. It's a little hurdle you overcame. Now you're a little tougher. First time you were able to spar more than 2 rounds. I remember I was stuck on 2 rounds for the longest when I was young. I used to 2 rounds. Next thing you know, I was doing 3, 4, 5, you know, 6 rounds. And then once I was able to do 6 rounds in full completion, I was like, damn, I just boxed 6 rounds. Like, yo, I never did that before. You know what I mean? So I just think that those little hurdles that you go through as a boxer, those little experiences, they add up over time. But initially, you have to have a real reason why you're doing this. And then, of course, you need somebody who's going to guide you and teach you more about yourself. Because a lot of the times we doubt ourselves. We say we can't do something until somebody forces us to do it. And then when we do it, we're like, damn. But then we can't stop there, right? You did 2 rounds, you did 3. That don't mean, okay, I accomplished the goal. No, now we got a new goal. The goals never end. It's like that video game that never ends. You know, you got that video game that you're just like, damn, yo, like, when the hell does the game end? It never ends. The game never ends. So the goal is just to go as far up the ladder as you can. So yeah, to have a powerful mindset, it comes with repetition of overcoming a lot of things. You know what I mean? And being repetitive, doing it day in and day out. Thank you. I appreciate the love. No problem, my guy. I appreciate it too. That's what everything's about, man. Showing love to each other. Ain't nobody out here too good for the next person. You know what I mean? That's why I'm starting this right here. I want you guys to get involved with it because, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't do this. You know what I mean? Tips for fighting in a street fight. Don't. First thing is don't. But you know, listen, I got a lot of thoughts when it comes to street fights. My boy Tony Jeffries, big shout out to Tony Jeffries. He has a very successful YouTube channel that has blown up. He made some street fighting videos, and I didn't watch the videos, but I just seen that he blew up with them. And you know, there's certain things that I'm scared to say because I don't want people to be like, Coach Anthony said to do that. But the fact of the matter is, you know what I mean, in a street fight, man, you know, things happen like this. Things happen very fast. You ain't gonna be out there shoulder rolling and doing all of that. You know what I mean? You better forget about it. So you got to get right to it. You know what I mean? And when you strike, you got to strike like you mean it. You know what I mean? So tips for a street fight: first thing is don't get into it. Second thing, if you feel like you can't avoid it, I would just strike first. You know what I mean? That's the number one thing. But you have to know how to fight. You know what I mean? To a degree, right? If you're just a guy who never fought before, you know, and you're just doing stuff, you may put yourself in a bad situation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a video on this more so than give you a tip right here on the live because I have a bunch of different scenarios and situations. Me personally, I've been in a lot of street fights throughout my life, you know, from a kid to now. So and I, you know, for the most part, have been successful at them. So I'll give you some ideas. Coach, do you teach clinches and getting out of clinches? On defensive principles 101, we go over clinches. So yes, I do teach them. How important are hand wraps? I personally never wrapped my hands when working the heavy bag and never had any hand problems. Well, you know, I can't sit here and tell you that they're not important. You know what I mean? But I would use them when I'm hitting the heavy bag if I was you. But they do have like those really small gloves. that guys used to use back in the day, like back in the 50s, you know what I mean? I got a pair of Reyes brand, you know what I mean? I got no affiliation with Reyes, but I got a Reyes pair, you know, they're small and you know they're supposed to build the conditioning of your hand. That's the whole purpose of them. I believe Rival sells a pair of those as well that are really good. But you know, hand wraps are there to protect your hands, protect your wrist. So I cannot sit here and recommend that you don't use them. But I do know people who, you know, they use those little gloves, and they don't wrap their hands. And the whole purpose of it is to strengthen the hand to the point where you have strong hands. You figure if you're wrapping your hands all the time and you're putting all these layer of protection, you know, you're kind of like, in a sense, not strengthening your hand. So that's kind of like a funny topic, but I'm gonna recommend that the hands being wrapped is the safest option, because if you hit the heavy bag the wrong way, you know what I'm saying, and your hands ain't wrapped, you can be out the game and then you can't train. So, you know, they are very important, but if you're going to go without wrapping, you need to go about it you need to go about it intelligently, I should say. When you are new to boxing, about novice level, how much help is it for you to spar or work with more experienced fighters, open or pro? Um, I think it's important because especially when the open and the pro, obviously they know not to hurt the novice. So I think it's important because I would do it all the time with my novices. I would put them in there with open class kids, and that'll give my open class kids an opportunity to work their defense, because a lot of the open class kids don't get a chance to work their defense because they're constantly sparring other competitive kids, right? When you was amateur, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna spar. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna spar. And even though you're working your defense in open sparring, everything is happening like this. You're just working on what you know. But when you work with the novices, it gives you a chance to slow everything down and see the shots and learn the defense, learn how to slip and drop and roll under shots. And you build confidence as an open class fighter with defense. In return, the novice is seeing what you're doing and learning as well. So they're learning, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to look like when you slip a shot. That's what it's supposed to look like when you block and counter or whatever. So, and it builds confidence for the novice, because the novice leaves the ring like, yo, I just sparred Kenyon, man. Yo, I did pretty good, man. He didn't hurt me today. And the open class kid ain't gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I let you off the hook. You just let him think what he wants, because you want to build that confidence, because it's like in life, man, it's like our responsibility, in a sense, that when we reach a certain level in life, that we pass it down to the next generation of people. I think that's why I love coaching. Like, all the lessons I've learned throughout life, I just pass it on to people who haven't been through it yet, and hoping that it helps somebody. One person or 100 people might not like what I'm saying, but it might help one person. That's all that matters, right? It's the same thing. It's like our duty to pass it on, like, yo, these are the gems. Now you can use it, because when I don't need it no more, now you got it. And that's what life is. We're constantly passing it on, passing it down, passing it down. So I think it's very important, if you have the luxury of having pros and novices in the same facility, because a lot of the times you don't get that, right? A lot of the times is either you're dealing with a bunch of novices, or you're dealing with a bunch of amateurs at a high level, or you're dealing with the pros at a separate time. It's an anomaly that you get them all in the building at the same time. So that's the challenge. But yeah, if you have the luxury of bringing in some open class kids and some pros to box the novices, as long as you don't got an asshole of a pro or an open class kid who's going to try to hurt a novice, absolutely. In your professional opinion, how late is late to take up competitive boxing? Well, it just depends on what your goals are with the competitive boxing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you're trying to be a world champion, then I'm gonna say you probably want to start boxing as an amateur before 20 years old. if you're looking to be a world champion professional. If you're just trying to compete, I mean, now you could be up to 40 years old and be an amateur. So shit, you could pick up a pair of gloves at 29 years old right now, and you get 10 good years of amateur boxing before you go to the Masters. You still might be able to go to the Olympics. So how late is too late? It just depends on what your goals are. You know what I mean? But if you're looking to be a world champion professional boxer, my professional opinion is you want to pick up competitive amateur boxing before the age of 20. You want to be 16, 17 years old, already getting prepared and ready to compete. You know what I mean? And that's late. Starting at 16 is relatively late, but it's still doable. You can still make it happen. You can still make it happen at 18, 19. Once you start picking up a pair of gloves at 25, 26, looking to be a world champion pro, can it happen? Anything can happen. But is it probable? Probably not. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, it's not just about what you can do physically. You could be in phenomenal shape. You can be a genetic freak that when you could fight until you're 50. But at the end of the day, who's gonna take you serious? You know what I'm saying? The managers, the promoters. You gotta understand. It ain't just about a guy with skills going to the fights. It's about the manager willing to work with you, the promoters willing to get you the fights that you can win. It's just like boxing's a business. It's not just about who's the best fighter. You know what I mean? What's the status with your gym? At the moment, my gym is closed. I've been closed now over a year. I closed around April last year, and obviously we're in November, so it's been a year and 6 months about. So I've been closed about a year and a half. You know what I mean? And the status is I don't know. I'm using a gym in Bristol by the name of Keystone Boxing MMA in Bristol, Pennsylvania, is where I do my YouTube videos and I do some personals. At the moment, I'm not training fighters competitively for now. I'm more focused on what I'm doing now, which is the online stuff, trying to really put some stuff behind the scenes. You guys don't even know what I got in store, but I'm really looking to really build this online platform to be the place where you come to learn boxing online. And then eventually, my goal is to get back into the mix and work with some guys, amateur pros and stuff like that. But I still do train people, but just not as often as I used to. Coach, which punch do you prefer? Zab Judah uppercut on the inside or Floyd's pull counter? Man, they both had some nice punches, right? Remember that uppercut that Zab used to throw, man? When he landed that uppercut, man, that thing was crazy, man. But I love a good old pull counter, so I love them both, man. It just depends on the situation. I'd rather whichever one I need at that moment. Also, the older you become, the more aware of the risk you take from where you take. Yeah, exactly. It can definitely cause second doubt. Yeah, when you're older, man, you don't take the same chances you used to. You start thinking about, damn, okay, if this happens to me, I'm gonna be assed out. When you're younger, you're just kind of just going off of emotion and feeling and stuff like that. So there's so many things I used to do when I was younger that I would never do now. There's not even boxing related. You know what I mean? I look back and say, damn, y'all, like, how I'm still alive. Like, you feel me? So, yeah, for sure. When you get older, you get wiser, but in turn, what it does is, as a fighter, that can actually hurt you because now you second guess things. What are your thoughts on this statement? If you're good as an amateur, you will be good as a pro. I don't necessarily agree with that statement. I think that it can happen in a lot of cases, but we've seen cases where good amateurs turn out to be okay pros, not even good pros. They're just average at best. I mean, it's case by case, man. Amateur boxing and professional boxing are two different things, but it does help to be a good amateur boxer. Like, You know, don't think that, oh, because it's pro boxing, you don't need amateur boxing. You need amateur boxing if you can get it, but it's not the end all be all. And if you're a really, really good amateur boxer, that does not give you a guarantee, oh, I'm going to be an elite professional. So it's case by case, man. You know what I mean? Some guys do better with the amateur system. Some guys do better with the pro system, but I do think experience helps. So if you have amateur experience, as long as you can make that transition, you will have an advantage. Coach, very curious to hear on your opinion on why Canelo doesn't get hit with body shots. Fighters don't go to his body. What's that about? You know, I never thought about that. Never thought about that, man. I mean, maybe the guys he fought aren't known for going to the body that much. Never put too much thought about that, man. Maybe these guys that he's fighting, they're just not big body punchers. You know what I mean? And the ones who do attempt it, maybe they're getting countered on the way in, and it prevents them from making decisions to go downstairs. I've never put too much thought on that. I think his face encounters make people second guess and lie. His feints are second to none. Absolutely. Canelo got some of the best feints in boxing, and that's why I think people need to realize I don't think I've ever seen anybody feint better than Canelo, honestly. But yeah, guys, listen, I've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm about to pull out of here, man. One more time. Don't forget, Ground Up 50% off of my latest course. Basically giving y'all Black Friday early, man. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the CA Power Hour. All right, I'm doing that at 60% off, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. I want to say thank you to everybody who pulled up in here, everybody who participated. I will be back here tomorrow, same time, 10 o'clock. I'm sticking with the 10 o'clock for right now. And I just need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. You know what I mean? Get involved. You know what I mean? Don't be scared to pull up in here and ask questions. And when I put the links, man, click them links so you guys can get in here, man. I want to say thank you again, and everybody who's saying good night to all you guys, man. And thank you so much for showing love. You already know.
The receipt, as soon as he throws that, boom. Okay. When I'm throwing the cross, what makes me punch so effective is now this is super advanced again, guys. This isn't for the beginners.